So, it's a new day, it's a new life. So, this is for 713 lectures. This is the second one, because we finished the first one last time. So, we're doing simple one-dimensional regression. This is like the easiest example of linear regression. Why did it say I only watched 1 minute? I did not. Yo, Killer, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hello.
Now let's talk about how to solve the regression problem by going through the following concepts. Here, a loss function is mentioned when we have a model and a prediction. We need to measure the error. So loss function help us to measure the prediction error. The smaller, the better. The
Okay, I already started,
optimization
that's why.
is help
Good.
us to
Very good.
gradually update the weights so that we can find a good fit between x and y. We also have other two. We call it generalization and regression. Generalization is trying to make a model work for new data, unseen data. Regression is trying to avoid overfitting. So the last two, once we finish loss function and prediction, we will talk about it.
I started rewatching Harry Potter. Nice, bro. I wanted to watch the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings series, but I'll start with my mom, and like I felt bad that while she was traveling, like I would watch it, so I put it on pause until she comes back. But the Harry Potter series is so nostalgic, like.
Right?
Very
So
nice.
here let's do some simplification for the problem we want to handle. Previously, we said that for Boston house prediction, we have certain features. We want to talk about the relationship between the certain features and the price. Now let's simplify the problem to one day. Suppose instead of considering certain features,
So there are 3 concepts to follow through the cases. There's one multi and polynomial fitting, which we stated here, right? 1D multiple polynomial. So, continuing.
instead of considering
Peak, by the way. Yeah, it is. It's something that reminds me of like watching it on a rainy day type of thing.
features, let's only consider one feature. Right? So later when we know how to solve one feature, then we come back to handle multiple features. So now the problem is, given the house, we only care the size of the house, or you can think of the price. Suppose it is only determined by the price. Based on the linear combination model, the simplest linear combination model we know, we just use the weight, right? And this build up the relationship between the price and this feature. So this is the formula. Now we want to figure out W0 and the good W0 and W1 value. Right? So here let's think about.
You do, do you know why one of my accounts is banned? Your accounts? I don't know. Was it intentional? Was it accidental? Yo. That's weird. Like from the live stream? I mean, I could check why, or like, if it is. And can I get mods so I can protect my main account? Let's see. Let's see what your main account is, though. Like, this is the community bar. I forgot how to check. I remember doing it before. So these are the current analytics. Man, I forgot. Oh shit, I should probably go to lives. Yeah. Never mind. Analytics. Audience. Okay. Never mind. Wait, advanced mode. Hey. Sorry, I forgot. I don't know how to check where the banned people are. But if you were banned, that means that you lost it for a reason. But I forget every time. And then I give back mod. Oh, it's probably with Air Scott, that's why. This is my main account. Oh, okay. Well then, since Eris is not here, I'm assuming that nothing's gonna happen if you get mod. Nothing. No fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure to not misuse it. I mean, you've never misused your mod though. It's just like, make sure to be nice to others while you have it. So this is the correlation we're trying to find with price versus the, oh, it's the Y value, and then the square feet. Yeah, no problem. So circles are data points that are given to us. So they're data points, and then the training set is this. Can you allow me to hate on Scott and Queen? I cannot do that. That's unfriendly. We are friendly in this channel. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten mod. If I was unfriendly. So that's what I expect of my moderators, that everyone's friendly.
So this linear combination just represent a line in this 2D space. Different.
Because Queen and Air Scott are like my most loyal viewers. Like they come and they stay as long as they need to, and it's like they're very on top of their game. Killer, I'm with you on hating Scott. Oh no, May, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? But don't hate. Don't hate. Hate is not good for the heart. Instead of hate, try to avoid or ignore, or better yet, love. I mean, if you guys have a specific reason to hate, try to work it out.
For example, here. For example, if W0 is 0, so we will get a line. So suppose we have a W1 value, W1 different W1 value, but we will have a different line, but it goes to this origin up in this space. If we have a W1 as 0, this will always a horizontal one, determined by the W0. If we have W0 and more general W0 and W1, they can be represent any line, right? So here the problem is different ways value give us different line in this 2D space. Which line best describe statement.
We want to fit a model to these points. Okay, so the line that best fits it, that's the regression model. He framed me. Oh yeah. I don't know if I do believe or trust that you didn't say shut up actually, but I'm assuming that he just mistook you for saying it instead of somebody else. I don't know why he would do that then. But I don't, have any proof that anyone's lying. Because I don't know. I could look back at the live though, the live history. I flamed him. Hi, put me on timeout because of. Oh, he put you on timeout? What did you flame him about? Should I crochet a bag or a bikini top? A bag. Bikini top is not appropriate. You need to be family friendly. But I can still hate on him on his own channel. I guess so. I mean, that's not my jurisdiction. All I can say is hate is bad.
Or fit those data. So for here, in order to figure out, we need to, as mentioned, we need to define a loss function to measure the error of the.
In other words, we want to choose these two weights so that the function green line is close to all the t's for our training set example. Okay, so this line in between all these dots, if it's, has the lowest red, that's the best.
That arrow can help us to figure out which line is better or which line is worse. So the arrow here, the loss function we consider here, we will use this loss function. Okay? So
standard loss cost objective function measures the square error between y and the true value t, where these two weights is a vector that stores them in math. Oh, so this is the standard loss of function. Okay, it's very important. Oops. So loss function. Hold on. Okay, I'll do it. Oh, fish, I have to go. So sorry. Me and my boyfriend have a dinner plans and it's in 15 minutes. You just remembered? That's funny. That you're here instead of with your boyfriend. But yeah, take care. Have fun. So this is the loss function. It's an equal sign here. So this measures the y squared value compared to the true value. Squared error between y and the true value t. Because these points, I would think those are the true values, the t values, and then the line, like that point, is probably the y, or yeah, this is the y value, and then the whatever's in between is probably the square value. But that's just what I think. I don't know for sure. Me and Aiden disagree with your statement, Joya. Some people deserve it. Deserve to get hated on? I think there are better ways to go about it, though. I mean, even if the people are wrong, nobody is completely right all the time. You know, everybody makes mistakes, and it's important that we deal with people the way that we want to be treated, and to be gentle with somebody else's heart, unless they're completely evil, like they don't have any good qualities. That's not, even that is not our place to, you know, like deal with them. It's more like a higher authority to take them and kill them off. Do I want a card? What's a card? Like what kind of card? Like a red card? Bye. I'll be here next stream. Okay. Bye. May, take care. Me. Okay.
But this we call the mean square error. Actually, the formula you can see. Suppose given this line, and here we have those data points. So this we call the mean square error. Actually, the form. So the error here, the loss function we consider here, we will use this loss function.
Mm-hmm.
So this we call the mean square error. Actually, the formula you can see. Suppose given this line, and here we have those data points. So this is suppose here this is x1. This point is the true answer y1. So y1 here, this is true answer, which is given value, or it's the t1 suppose. Right? Given that each house we know their price. This is the data we can learn knowledge from. So now if you use this line, now you may see this is so here this y value, this is a prediction of this x1. Because when you suppose you have this
So
y
prediction
function,
is the y.
you just take the x1 into it, then you get this.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is between the given true price of the house and this predict price by this line. This
Square
difference is error.
Uh-huh.
So actually that's why here we use t, the real value minus the predict, that is this differences, that is this error. But we know that this difference is.
So this is the true value. This is the predicted value. And this whole thing is mean squared error. Right? I forgot. Hello, how are you? Hey, Nick. Welcome back to the stream. How's it going? The N-word pass. Wait, you're gonna give me that? I'm going to my bara. You can search the meaning. It is in Swahili. What is that? You could tell me. Assalamu alaikum, Joya. How are you? I'm good. What about you? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the stream. I'm good though. What's it called? So the other person that I mixed you up with, I was confused whether you or her were Haya. I was asking her what her name is, and her name is Aisha. So I was like, oh, okay. So now I know the differentiation between you guys. So don't think I forgot you. I don't think I will ever forget you. Haya. I'm okay. You're okay? I don't want to okay. That's not good enough. I want to very, very good.
So this may be positive.
Wait, so what are you guys' plans for today? Is it like morning or night for you guys? Yeah, because it's like almost noon for me. That's like the earliest I've streamed in a while.
We can make it, and that's why we use a square here. Of course, you can use absolute value, but the square is mathematically is differentiable. So we use square here. We have a mean square error. So for each.
Why? Well, why does it matter if it's differentiable?
Data item, for each house you can get error. Now let's just sum the error, all the errors together. So this is overall error. Right, among all the given houses in the training data sets. Here we have a 1/2, and so this is just the scalar, the factor, but it doesn't matter at all here. So we just want to lower. We will try to figure out the risk and lower the loss value. So this one is one. We have a 1/n. This is a mean average. This overall loss. So this two, because later we can compute the derivative. So when we have this two, when you compute the derivative, these two will help us to simplify the formula. Okay. Of course, if you don't like this scalar here, you can simply use this one. It's totally fine. Okay.
So it's
So this is
optional.
the loss function we want to use that describe the
PM 9:52 p.m. Oh wow, it's almost your bedtime. Just the place where our parents were born in the West. Really? What was it called again? I'm going to Maibara. Oh, okay, okay. So you're from Swahili? Oh wait, what is the place where you speak Swahili called? If I delete any social media, Snapchat, Instagram, that it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Are you asking me? Yeah, it's definitely not an indication of how good of a person you are. That's not bad. Honestly, it's good that you would delete social media because you want to be more present in your real world. Kenya. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting you're from Kenya. But isn't Obama from Kenya? That's probably like knowledge of Kenya. 3:51 p.m. or a.m. I think p.m. right? But yeah, any plans for today? I mean, or it's only night for you, killer. Uh, what? How's your day? Like, what did you do today?
error or prediction error of the goodness or badness of the current line based on the current weight value. Okay. So for here, now we know the loss function. And the less loss function, the better.
Mm-hmm.
But how can we find the W0, W1 and minimize this loss function? This is a
So how do you find the weights that minimize the loss function? This is called optimization. 3:54 a.m. Whoa, that's early, Nick. What are you doing awake now? Exams? Oh wow. I hope you pass all the exams.
optimization problem. Okay,
So there's numerical solution, gradient descent, and analytic solutions. So how do you do that? I just messed up my sleep schedule. Dang.
to find the W0, W1, there are many different ways.
But the only way to fix it is now staying up until 10 p.m. We did Swahili paper 1 and 2 in agriculture. Ooh, so in agriculture, do you learn how to garden? Or like, what is that like? Because I think that's very useful knowledge. If you learn to
You
garden.
can use a numerical solution. So actually, this is what we learned from studying numerical methods. We call it gradient descent. Of course, we have other algorithms, but gradient descent just based on the force duality is really easier to handle. So that's why almost every machine, I mean, deep learning algorithms, they use gradient descent algorithm. Of course, you can use an analytical solution, but this one isn't require manual work, right? So in machine learning,
Use this algorithm for deep learning. Yeah, we have a kitchen garden at our school. Whoa, that's so cool. I recently found out that my parents wanted to move to Canada in the 90s, but because my dad had passport issues, they couldn't go and stayed in Russia. I could have been born in Canada. So are you like sad about that? Like how do you feel um living in Russia? Like would you have wanted to move to Canada? Downloaded the app and just like you said, it's not free, it costs money, it's so expensive. Reveal this app. Yeah, I was uh yeah, I was worried that it would cost too much for you. But there are other tafsir apps like the Quran app that I showed you, the green one, and it has tafsir in Kathir. It's all free. You don't have to pay for that one. That's what I use sometimes when the revealed app doesn't work, cause it's really laggy. Canada, yeah, Canada, uh, like I would not want to move to Canada because I think California is better. But instead of Russia, I think Canada is more bearable. Like they complain about the winters, but Russia's winters are really bad. I haven't lived in Russia for about 6 years now since I'm ethnically Korean and live in Korea. Oh yeah, you mentioned that. I'm sorry. Um, but I would have ended up leaving Russia for Korea or somewhere else anyways. Yeah, makes sense. But Korea is so cool, bro. Everybody wants to travel there and like just like sightsee everything. You're lucky to live in Korea. Canada, yeah. I wouldn't come to Russia if only because I'd get drafted into the army and die in war. Yeah, the army's brutal. I've seen a lot of military videos. It's pretty funny, some of them. But like MRE taste testing with like Russian, crazy Russian hacker, like that was what I grew up watching. I was like, whoa, they're like so good. But also, what's it called? Yeah, how's life in Korea? Like, is it like Japan, sort of? I know that's probably a racist question, but like, I would expect it to be really clean and like really cutesy. Because I see Korean vlogs all the time. Like, people they go back from Canada to Korea.
We the optimization usually carry out automatically. So that's why we always use
Which Korea? Bro, it has to be South Korea. North Korea would not be able to watch this stream. They have everything limited. Which is crazy to think about. Like, you could really do that as a government if you wanted to. But that also is crazy to think about because they make the bad things on the internet so accessible in the West just because people want that, and it's like, dang, they could do something about it if they wanted to.
radical solution. So here's this quick note. Hope this may motivate you to using gradient descent in machine learning because almost every deep learning is powered by gradient descent algorithm, which is the radical solution. Okay, so for here, what is gradient descent solution? So here's for this loss function, we only have those two unknowns, right? W0 and W1. So let's suppose under this given function, so let's call this is a loss value, and this is one weight, and this is another weight for W0, W1. We can use this shape, to describe this 2D, right, to represent this loss function. We know the best solution is at here. So this the corresponding race value W1, W0, W1 give us the smallest loss value. That means at this point the race value at the best. Given this loss function, right, usually we have no idea where this minimum point it is. So usually we just give a random value at the beginning. Suppose we pick up here. So the optimization problem is trying to reach this minimum point starting from the random initial point. So how can we reach there? So in the gradient descent, okay, there are
Nick and me and I will be leaving Keep Joy Company by Joya. Okay, bye guys. I love revealed this app because as the see it every word. I never seen something like that, but thank you very much. Yeah, of course, Haya. Once you can afford it, yeah, it'd be worth your money to do that. People return because generally speaking, the local mindset differs significantly here from the Western one, and traditions play a major role here. Yeah, I've seen that. Like people, they wear the traditional clothing sometimes in those like specific tourist places. It's so cute. I love it. I never thought you're gonna live this time. I really was waiting for you to be waiting for your live. Aww. Yeah, it's pretty rare that I stream at this time. I wake up kind of late, but today I woke up early. So that said, I wouldn't say life here is bad. I actually like it. I plan to live and work here because unlike in Russia, it's much easier to live alone and save money. Really? That's awesome. Honestly, if it's that easy, like people might move from America there because it's hard to live alone here. Like it's not easy. Like the rent is so high. in Saudi Arabia, it's so hot, really, really hot. Is it? Yeah, it is definitely. I mean, my cousins, and my aunt and my cousin's family, like they all went there for Umrah, and it was so hot. But that's normal. I mean, it's summertime. It's 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 the desert, so I want to learn Quran in English. That's true that I know Arabic, but I want to learn English. That's why I told you I want the app. Oh, but learning that's weird because like I want to learn Arabic and you want to learn English. We should just trade our knowledge, right? Because learning the Quran with like when I hear a verse like فَإِنَّ مَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, I have to think about it in English and then understand it. Like I'm translating it in my head. That's not how actually knowing a language works. Like you know the meaning, and then if you want to translate it, you have to think about it in English. It's just very different.
Going through several iteration. And a gradual unit function is called this is a loss value, and this is one weight, and this is another weight, the W0, W1. We can use this shape, to describe this 3D, right, to represent this loss function. We know the best solution is at here. So this the corresponding race value W1, W0, W1 give us the smallest loss value. That means at this point, the weight value at the best. Given this loss function, right, usually we have no idea where this minimum point it is. So usually we just give a random value at the beginning. Suppose we pick up here. So the optimization problem is trying to reach
Um. Okay.
this minimum point starting from the random initial point. So how can we reach there? So in the gradient descent, okay, they are going through several iterations and gradually approach to the minimum point. You can think of suppose you are at a mountain. So the gradient descent uses gradient information. Gradient information is just local information around this point. So you can think about we block your eyes, and you're standing over here. You could not get the whole view of the thing. You only be able to check your small neighborhood, your small neighborhood. And what you can do, which is gradient. Gradient it is the gradient is a direction that we can make.
In many parts of Russia, it's difficult to live on the average monthly salary of around $381. What? That's something that, like, a minimum wage person makes in, like, a week. Like, less than a week. Renting a one-bedroom apartment can cost about $300, leaving little money for other expenses, while prices have continued to rise since the war began. Oh, okay. So the war affected the prices. But $300, you're not talking about USD, so that's probably different in Russian dollars. In Korea, on the other hand, a single person can generally live on an average salary much more comfortably. Yeah. I've seen those Korean vlogs of like people in their houses, like day in the life of eating inside the house. It's so cute. Joya, did you cook like dinner or lunch for your family? Because I do. Not really. My sister does that. But at the same time, we get like food from outside too. You know, like sometimes my dad randomly brings pizza. Like he doesn't do it all the time, but like just because it was like World Cup final, he's like, oh, let me get something from outside. You know, to sort of celebrate if, uh, regardless who wins. It's like really, yeah, it's kind of like, expected. So right now in the fridge we have some like pad thai from the Cheesecake Factory, which we went there for the first time the other day. Like my sister and I just wanted to try that out. That pizza from the final yesterday, and then my sister's gonna make like baked potato tonight. Like she's been wanting to, and we have some ingredients for like a sandwich. You know, everyone just makes their own food. I'm not even mentioning that if you live in the European part of Russia, you'll have to deal with frequent Ukrainian drone attacks. What? Ukrainian drone attacks? Dang. Nobody's documenting this. Like, and nobody sees this type of thing anymore. Like, Ukraine war was mentioned like a few years ago, and then they just stopped talking about it. That's so sad. Like, the casualties are just forgotten. Not forgotten, it's like not cared about. Like, people need to raise more awareness.
Function or the loss function most. So but if we want to decrease loss function, so we use negative gradient direction. So once you find the direction that helps you move down the path, so you follow that. Once you get this point, you check the small macro and repeat process using figure out the gradient direction, follow the gradient direction, and go the location goes and repeat eventually. So this is what we do in the gradient design process. So suppose we are starting from here, we compute the gradient. So this is negative. This is negative gradient direction. So what gradient it is, please review from this survey. This is the gradient. It is the key concept in the survey class. So we follow the negative gradient direction. Suppose we are here, because it's just the local based on local correlation. So when we repeat checking the negative gradient direction at this point, eventually we will hit this is repeats. So keep in mind, the direction we're following is negative gradient direction, because in that gradient direction give you the greatest way to increase the function.
The direction at each step is a negative gradient. In math, the gradient points in the direction of the greatest rate of increase of the function. Points in the direction. The gradient points in the direction. They are in the direction of the greatest rate of increase of the function. The gradient points in the direction of the greatest rate of increase in the function. Hence, we need negative. Because we want the lowest loss value. Ukrainian strikes knocked out around 25% of Russia's oil refining capacity. Gas prices are rising faster than inflation, and my friend can't even take his driving test because there's a fuel shortage. Man, they really went for the most valuable thing. Like, for economy. That's sad. I forgot why this war even started. Like, everyone's saying to support Ukraine, not Russia here. But casualties are casualties. Doesn't matter like what side. Like there's probably a better way to go about it, but I mean that's how war works. Like, you know, even in my religion, it's like inevitable. People have to go to wars. I also grew up in a harsh climate where the winter temperatures often drop to negative 30 degrees Celsius. So I think I'd probably feel better, pretty comfortable in Canada. Yeah, man. I mean, Canada is pretty harsh too. Like everyone talks about how miserable Canada's winters are, and like people, there are a lot of homeless people, especially like Native Americans. Like there's a huge Native American population there. I have a Canadian friend who's like a doctor. Like she works in that, like, you know, in the medical field, and she has to deal with the patients who come in during winters, and like they have so much frostbite because they're just out there in the streets. Like they're homeless. They, you know, they have a lot of benefits from society, like a lot of the tax money goes towards the Native Americans, but they don't use it right because obviously the trauma generational trauma, like, it doesn't go away that fast. Like they have a huge, you know what's the word, like, dependency on like drugs and stuff. So yeah, it's really sad. All their lives are just cooked. Hi, yo, Fair Kira, welcome back to the stream. How's it going?
Before negative gradient conversion. Okay. So here, so what is gradient of this one? So this may be a little complicated to us. So let's do some practice. So for example, here we have this loss function. So you can extract this one. So suppose this is loss function. We want to minimize this loss function with respect to the weight. And this way, suppose here we only have a single number, a single.
Okay, so example. We have a loss function, and we have a single weight.
Let's practice. So now let's quickly.
In math, a through 0 is intercept or bias term, and 1 is the slop or slope. I'm worried about the U.S. healthcare system. That's why I'm still not sure whether I'd want to live in the United States if I ever had the opportunity. Oh man, yeah, everyone complains about the healthcare system too. Like my mom, she had this issue with her prolapse. Like it's like a lot of women get it after birth, even after a long time. Like it's been a long time since she gave birth to me, and I'm the last kid, but she still had that prolapse from, like, I don't know, lifting weights, and like the pelvic floor got weakened. Anyways, the healthcare system that we went to is so bad. It took so long to like take care of her, and even after that, like, they didn't do it right. Like she would have healed by now, but she's not, because they didn't care like that. And they were so bad. Oh my god! Like they gave her like the surgery, right, that she needed to fix her prolapse. But even then, like, they rushed her out of the hospital, and she had to walk up the stairs to lie on the bed. And she was like, they shouldn't have done that. Like, she was in so much pain. They didn't care at all. It's like, you could be so much gentler. Like, why do you even work here? Like, it's not like you have that many patients, right? Like, the place is usually empty, but they're still so mean. Good. I just finished my thesis, and I'm currently doing my research projects. Had quite a hard time, to be honest. Oh, man. I'm sorry that you had a hard time with it, but keep up the good work. Like, it's good that you're working hard, and yeah, you see the fruits of your labor soon, very soon. Good job. Keep it up. Is the United States healthcare system really as bad as people on the internet make it sound? I don't know exactly how bad they make it sound, but I would say from my personal experience, it's not the best. I try not to believe everything I read online, so I wanted to ask someone who actually lives there. Yeah, it's not the best. I've seen healthcare systems around the world where, like, it's like self-serve, like for some, like in Switzerland or something. It could be so much better, honestly. Are medical bills really that expensive? If you don't have an insurance, definitely. Good thing we have an insurance, but yeah, still really unfortunate. I can't speak too much about the healthcare system just because, like, our family, alhamdulillah, so far does not have any major health issues. But yeah, honestly, it does get that high. California is probably the only U.S. state I'd really want to live in. I also like Houston, Texas, because a very popular Russian journalist made a video about the city, and I really liked its vibes. Oh my god, bro, I have cousins in Texas, and I went there, and it was so nice, bro. Everything is new there for some reason. Like, yeah, I don't know. I really like Texas myself. Like, some of my favorite memories were in Texas, and I only went there once, so yeah, really good rating from me. California, though, the weather is just it gets hot, honestly. Yeah, it does. I won't lie about that part, but it's so beautiful. Like, even the sunny days, you don't mind it because everything's so pretty. And this is me as a Californian who was born and raised here. Like, sometimes you get used to it, but I don't. Medical expenses are always expensive, except you're in an undeveloped country. But anyway, it depends on their government. That's so true for care. That's a good point. It's always gonna be expensive because you need specialized people. It's not like anybody can do it. You know.
Just quickly show you different cases. Suppose this loss function looks like this one.
If we want to decrease the loss function, the opposite direction to a1 helps. Where is a1? So the slope. So make it as negative as possible. So it's like, let's go down. No direction to change out. Oh, so the loss function is the y. That's the true value. So we just want to make that part negative. This part negative.
And we are studying a single scalar. This is the loss function. So now let's quickly check in.
If a1 is positive, it means the output fw increases as input w increases. Oh, so a1 is the y value. And is it true that you have to pay for an ambulance ride, or is it just an internet rumor? Oh, you know what? That's a really good question, Nick. I've seen that myself. Like people, they get hurt, and then the ambulance is coming, and then they just get up and run away because it's like, oh no. But yeah, I mean, my sister, she had to get taken to an ambulance because we had a day to go horse riding, and then the horse was, yeah, it was not taken care of or anything like that. So it fell backwards. My sister fell with it. Like it fell on her, and like half her face was broken, her leg was broken, and the ambulance came and took her. But I don't know about the expenses though. I feel like yeah, I don't know. I don't remember any expenses. I have to ask her, but yeah. Joya, do you know rice kabsa? This food is famous in Saudi Arabia. Yes, kabsa is so good. I tried it when I went for Saudi. I went to a restaurant called Romancia next to the Haram, and it was so good, bro. I wanna try it again. We have a meme in Russia that says American burgers are worth more to me than my homeland. It usually features Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's eating a burger. Why is it worth more than the homeland? What? American burger? I've never heard of that meme.
Oh yeah.
Oops, sorry. Okay. So this is our linear function, and then this is the a1. This is 1. Intercept or bias one. Okay, if a1 is positive, it means the output increases as the input increases.
Now let's quickly check in all here.
People usually reply with the meme with when someone, especially from the older generation, starts saying bad things about the West or complains that Russian youth have been corrupted by Western culture. Oh, okay, that makes sense a lot now. Because, yeah, it's pretty common that people, they criticize the West from other countries. And, the younger generation is not that critical. So, it's funny.
So actually, we just quickly show you different cases. Suppose this loss function looks like this one. And we are standing at this point. So this is a current with the weight value. Our goal, as mentioned, we want to minimize loss function, right? So what are we going to do? We will compute the derivative of this loss function with respect to the weight. So you get what? You get a1. Right? This is the derivative. But this is because here we only have a one weight, so this is gradient as well. As mentioned, you should follow negative gradient direction. Now, based on the shape of this line, we know A1 here is positive, right? A1 is positive. So you need to follow the negative gradient direction. If we follow negative gradient direction, that means what? If we want to change the W in order to minimize this loss function, we should go, we should keep kind of like a negative, we should decrease this phase value.
Arabic coffee قهوة العربية الكبسة. That's والكبسة. Oh, okay. So I don't like Arabic coffee. This random lady, like she was passing out Arabic coffee like on the roof of the haram, like while we were praying, on the roof, like yeah, and then like I drank it and I really tried to like it. Like it was cardamom and like really dark. I'm like, this is not what I like. I'm gonna try it anyway, and I just couldn't. I had to throw the whole thing away while she was not looking. But yeah, I mean, it probably has some good effects for your body or something. I don't know. We also have a joke in Russia that makes fun of how obsessed some Russians are with the U.S. election. Whenever there's an American presidential election, some people comment like random village has voted for Trump. It's basically the same as if Americans started saying Detroit has voted for Putin. It makes no sense, and that's exactly why it's funny. Yeah, like why do people care about the election? I mean, it makes sense though, like because everyone in the world like kind of wonders, oh, what's he gonna do this time? What's gonna happen? It's kind of like a show, like how the World Cup is. It has no effect on them. So I think this is my prediction for the second one.
So because the gradient is positive, which is A1 is positive, we should go towards the negative direction. To change the respect. Same idea, suppose this loss function looks like this line. The same idea, A1 is the gradient of this loss function with respect to W. And we know because of this line looks like this one, because A1 is negative. So if you want to lower the function, you should increase the W. This may have to lower this function. A special case here, suppose you have A1 which is 0 on this one. If the gradient is 0, think about this question. If gradient is 0, that means no matter how you change W at this point, the loss function is still the same. So when we have to the point that gradient is 0, that means in the neighborhood, even though at this point, no matter how you change W, the loss function is the same. So this is how this is kind of the simple example about the gradient descent on this function. Now let's look at another. Right. So this is how this is kind of the simple example about the gradient descent on this function. Now let's look at
the derivative is noted as this. The derivative gives a slope at the point x. And our simple example is the derivative. Gives a slope. Okay. Should I write this down? It's pretty simple.
Another function. So
في رمضان عندنا الأكلات المشهورة. The famous food in Ramadan. قيمات sambusa قهوة العربية. What is قيمات? I know sambusa though. That's like the triangle deep fried meat filled pastry type thing. It's really good. I had it in a restaurant once, in a Yemeni restaurant. It was amazing. A lot of Russians say they dislike America, but they constantly judge the Russian economy by the ruble to dollar exchange rate. Ruble? What is ruble? Russia and the US are basically in a one-sided toxic relationship. That's true. Honestly, I don't know. Because Russia seems like it could be a first world country, but it's not. I wonder why. Many people also dislike Trump, but during this election they keep saying he was Russia's friend. Meanwhile, it feels like the US barely thinks about Russia at all. Yeah, I don't see them talking about Russia that much.
So suppose now the loss function is this function. We still have a single.
But is it like, does it change anything? Like, if Trump is Russia's friend, but he himself as a person is terrible. Like, he does stuff to children, and like they've been exposed in the files and everything. The ruble is Russia's national currency. Oh, ruble. Okay, I've never heard that. Thanks for teaching me.
Weight, but the function is a square of this weight. Its function, so even though this is a loss function, and this is W, and we want to find the minimum point of this loss function. Actually, this is looking here. But again, suppose we have no idea where it is, and we start with random location. So how can we get from this point to here? We will compute the gradient of or derivative of this loss function with respect to the weight. We know actually this is just W, right? This is from the simple calculus. But in order, we want to minimize this loss, we need to follow the negative gradient direction. So that means when you change the W value, suppose you are looking here, you compute the gradient, you know it is positive, so that means we need to decrease the W value. Why? Because we follow the negative gradient direction. Okay, so because here this is the gradient or the derivative is positive, so we should decrease the W value. Now when we
Okay. The derivative is still useful for minimizing a function because it tells us how to change x in order to make a small improvement in y. For example, we know that the loss function plus epsilon, like the error, times the negative sign of the derivative is less than the loss function for small enough e. We can thus reduce the loss function by moving w in small steps with the opposite sign of the derivative. It's called the learning rate. Okay. If the derivative is positive, we can take the negative, so it reduces the loss value. Russia is an extremely resource-rich country, but corruption is a huge problem. Authoritarianism doesn't make it better. We lack pragmatic leaders like China, and instead of having officials focused on enriching themselves. For example, Putin was linked to a palace reportedly worth around $1 billion? That's far from the only case. What? I thought he actually cared about his people. Because I see so many edits of Putin, and he's just like, he was big and strong.
decrease. So here this is the formula we can do, how we update this value, we based on the laws, the gradient, and to follow negative gradient direction. Usually, we can just rely on the sign on the gradient. So this will be loss density when when the value get very small, the gradient get very small. So here, usually we just use the sign and follow negative gradient direction. But here we give some factor. So this is called status, but in machine learning we call it memory weight. This determines how far we should go along the direction at that stage. So this is how we can update the data. So, and here, because this gradient is positive, so that's why we follow the negative direction, and we times the learning rate. So we say, okay, let's move under this line. So now we reach here. And at this point, we can, because this is just one step iteration of the gradient descent involve macro iterations. So we should repeat the process, and here we should compute this gradient, the new gradient, and following the negative gradient direction, and using the learning rate equation, and repeat this process. Eventually, we will hit the minimum.
So once you reach the minimum, that's called gradient descent. Reduces LW by small steps in the opposite sign of the derivative. Gradient descent. Okay.
It's a function. The loss function looks like this one. Eventually, for sure, we will be in point and using gradient descent. Okay. Here, some of the notes about gradient descent.
Minimum, maximum, saddle point. The derivative of a function can be used to follow the function downhill to a minimum. Global minimum, x equals 0, since the derivative is 0, so it holds here. Okay. We know the lowest point once the derivative is 0. When is, okay, points are known as critical points or stationary points.
We need to know that in the gradient descent, we only rely on the gradient or derivatives. So this can help us solve the minimum problem, also help us solve the maximum problem. Right? So in the machine learning, the gradient descent, if we are handling the convex problem, for example, if we are handling this function is kind of like a bullshit function. This is what we call a convex problem. So when starting from any random initial point, eventually for sure, if you use gradient descent, this can hit the global minimum point. However, when you have the loss function, suppose you have a loss function looks like this one. This loss function has several minimum points. For example, this one we call the local minimum point. This one we call the
Global.
global minimum point. Um, if you handle this non-convex problem, gradient descent problem is not a problem. It is not guaranteed for you to, for us to get a global minimum point. If you suppose, the random initial random value starting from here, if you use gradient descent, you will get stuck at this local minimum point. Why? Because at this point, the gradient descent will become zero. Remember how we update the weight? We will follow the negative gradient direction. This is gradient. We follow the negative gradient direction. So when this is become zero at this local minimum point.
Guess what I'm frying? Sambusa wallahi al-azim. Whoa, nice. What, man, I want one right now. I didn't eat anything since I woke up. Let's see, it's 12:39. After I finish this, which is like 20 seconds left, I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. Probably some leftovers, so it's fast because I'm impatient with food. When Americans say that Trump is a dictator, I look at them like they're cute little innocent kittens. Trump may be a populist, but he's still far from being a dictator. Rookie numbers. That's true. Honestly, like, he's really bad on, like, nobody likes him in America. But the fact that everyone booed him at the FIFA World Cup, a real dictator would have killed them all or something. Like, Kim Jong-un would not tolerate anyone booing him, even if he deserves getting booed. So, yeah. But Trump can't get away with killing people. This is America. This is not a dictator country. People protesting. Yeah, dictator would not be the right word. He's everything worse though. A pedo.
There's no
He's a criminal.
on the W. So that means no matter how many iterations you move on, the W always keeps the same. That means you always get stuck here. Okay? But if we are lucky, random initial value starting from here, we may get hit global minimum. But it's not guaranteed.
Okay, so it's not always guaranteed that we will hit the global, but that's what we want. Alright, that's it for this lecture. I have one more after this. Let's see how long this is. 7 minutes, 8 minutes. I think I could do it before we end for the stream. There's also this lecture, which is 51 minutes. There's this one, 49. I kind of want to stop now, but one more. It's 8 minutes, it doesn't hurt. The only big problem with the US is that they have PDF files in positions of power, not dictators. Not dictators? You like dictatorship? But, yeah, dictators are pretty bad.
There's a parameter we know is called a learning rate. So this
if the learning rate is too large, it might diverge.
Parameter is a hyperparameter. We will for optimization we will not optimize this learning rate. This is rely on the user input. So when we specify the learning rate, you will not set it too large or too small. If it is too small, it may take so many observations, so the values will be it may take too long to get the watch object to hit the minimum point. If it is too large, it still not may reach to a divergence. For example, suppose we are starting from here and we use a very large learning rate.
And if too small, it will take many iterations to get to the lowest point. You misunderstood me. I'm not saying I like dictators. I'm saying just the U.S. doesn't have a dictator in power. Oh, sorry, Nick. Yeah, I did misunderstand that. Um, yeah, both dictators and pedophiles are very bad. But that's just how it works. Like the U.S. president can be a criminal, clear cut criminal, exposed and everything, but because he's in power, like nothing's gonna happen to him. He could just walk freely, literally host the World Cup and still get away with it all. So sad.
The next one is also a larger learning rate, and so we will here. So you may see the time watch is no longer able to reach the middle point. So when you specify the learning rate, you should be careful on the values, not too large, not too small. So in a machine learning, how we can specify what a appropriate learning rate value is. So actually you can plot the loss function value, the loss score values along the iteration. If you find it slowly, very slowly, approximately decrease or the reduced loss value, that means the learning rate may be too small. However, if you find along the iteration the loss function get very large, this may means divergence caused by the learning rate.
Okay, so if the loss function is low compared to the number of iterations, it could be too small. If the loss function increases, it could be too large. How do you specify the learning rate value? I watched videos about Costco in the US, found the closest store near me, and now my family goes there once a month to buy food and other stuff. I always get their large meat pizza and hot dog. Oh yeah, Costco is a huge like American, prized thing. Like I love Costco too. I don't go to the food court that much. Like my dad used to get pizza from there, but I kind of don't like it anymore. I'd rather get it from another pizza's place. I guess cuz like we tasted it too much in our lives. Um Also, yeah, I mean the prices are insane. It's like you can't find lower prices with the best quality than from Costco. Anything it goes from food to like household things, even like you know houses and cars. Super good.
Okay, so for here, now we mentioned green. So what green is, when we have, as mentioned here, we have those two least values in the loss function. The green actually is a factor of the partial derivative of that loss function. Loss function is respect to each rate.
The ith element. Okay, instead of rushing, I think I should just watch it like at a regular pace, like after I eat and stuff. Cause I'm kind of rushing things. Rushing, rushing. I have a small dream of visiting Walmart someday. It sounds very American, but I just want to experience it at least once. No, that's so real, bro. Like I don't blame you for wanting to go to Walmart, because the internet makes you want things that you never thought you'd want to experience. Something small as like a convenience store in Korea is something that I always wanted to go to. That's the one thing. People make it look so good. Like the 7-Elevens have so many yummy stuff. But it's pretty much the same thing as the 7-Elevens here. Yeah, the convenience store is just full of junk food and things. Like, it's not that good. But it's still like something that you want because people make it look so good. Anyways, thanks for watching and like sticking around for the whole stream and talking to me and increasing my knowledge about the Russian system and all. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna eat breakfast and then come